Okay, today we want to think about the altitude of the sun. And in a general sense, the altitude is just a measure of how high up in the sky the sun is. So if it's a high altitude, the sun is high in the sky. If it's a low altitude, the sun is low to the horizon. But we're going to make it a little bit more technical. We're going to actually put a number to it. So let's just first think about a general case where the sun is up in the sky and you're standing here on the ground. And so the angle that you have to look up to see the sun, this angle right here, that's the altitude. That's the definition of altitude, is this angle right here. So if the sun were just rising, you would have 0 altitude. And if the sun was directly overhead, you would have 90 degrees. We're going to investigate the altitude of the sun in a couple different times of year. So if we think about the summer solstice, that's when the sun is at the highest point in the sky. For everything we're going to do here, we're going to be thinking about at noon, right? Because as the time of day changes, the altitude of the sun will change, right? As it's rising in the morning, it's a low altitude. But if it's in the middle of the day, it's a higher altitude. So we don't want to change the time of day. So we're just going to say, okay, we're going to always think about things happening at noon. So summer solstice, the sun is really high in the sky. And that means that we have basically a very high altitude, right? So we have a high altitude here. And what that means is that the sun is hitting us very directly, and we're getting a lot of direct heat from the sun. So it's very warm here in the summer. Over here, we have the case of at noon, at the winter solstice, we have the sun is rather low in the sky, relatively low compared to the summer solstice. And so we have a lower altitude here. That means the sun is not hitting us as directly as it was in the summer solstice. And so we have cooler weather